Hey everyone, it's Ashley from Simplistic. Today we are going to be diving into hormonal birth control and some of the crazy long-term effects that most women don't understand it has on their bodies. So in this video, you're gonna be learning 3 things that hormonal birth control is doing to your body that you most likely have never heard of before. So just a quick little recap. I was on birth control when I was a teenager. I went on it for my painful periods, clotting periods. A big reason I went on it was to help clear out my skin because I had acne, hormonal acne, and there were a few different reasons for going on it. Usually they had something to do with hormones. And when I went on it, while the one symptom that cleared up was my skin because it was suppressing a bunch of other things, a whole cascade of other things began. I started getting chronic, recurring UTIs. I had terrible hair loss. I was so moody, unbelievably moody. I gained 40 plus pounds, and it messed with my body's ability to get pregnant when I got married later on in life and was ready to start a family. So the number one thing that birth control is doing to your body that you probably have no idea about is that it is actually turning off, it is blocking the signaling between your brain and your ovaries. This is a huge problem because this communication pathway is essential for overall hormone health. And if you're here, that is something you're seeking. So if you're trying to get pregnant, or if you're just trying to optimize fertility, you're trying to balance out your metabolism, your thyroid, this crucial hormone signaling pathway is essential for that. And when it is turned off by an artificial hormone or high amounts of copper or whatever it may be, this is going to be problematic. Now, the second thing that birth control is doing to your body that you're probably not aware of is that it is actually turning off the follicle stimulating hormone. And so this hormone is responsible for regulating your menstrual cycle, which is essential if you are a woman. And then it is also essential for helping your ovaries to create eggs. So if we are having an imbalanced menstrual cycle and we're not creating eggs, you can see how this is clearly going to be a problem for fertility. And so by that FSH not being stimulated, by it actually turning off, being blocked, whatever you want to call it, this is a huge problem when it comes to women's, again, thyroid, metabolic, hormone health, because all of these hormones play a crucial role. Now, the third thing that birth control does to women that they don't think about is that it actually can thicken your cervical mucus. And so you need really fluid, lots of life in your cervical mucus. And when it becomes really thick and uninhabitable, that becomes a problem because the sperm need a really ideal cervical mucus to travel when someone is trying to get pregnant. And cervical mucus plays more than just the role of people who are trying to get pregnant. So if you're like, well, I'm not trying to get pregnant, which is probably why you're on birth control, your cervical mucus helps to cleanse your body. It helps with balancing pH. It has a whole host of other jobs. And so just because you're trying not to get pregnant doesn't mean that your cervical mucus is not important. And the reason that this happens would be with the specific copper birth control. And because that high amount of copper that's being released actually makes the result of the thickened cervical mucus. Now, this one is a bonus. This is unbelievable, and read the article below if you want, but I've been researching this and following this study and several other studies for many, many, many years. And it's really fascinating to me because it's something that even before these studies started coming out or I read about them, I made this connection and this realization in my mind myself. And it was that birth control disrupts mate selection in humans. So this is saying that women who are on birth control have a disrupted, basically, lens when they're choosing a mate, a boyfriend, a spouse, whatever it may be. It almost clouds your vision because you aren't thinking clearly. And so a lot of us will say things like, oh my gosh, yeah, I was dating this guy when I was on birth control, or I did this thing, or whatever it may be. And the birth control is actually disrupting mate selection. So if you're someone who's on birth control or was on birth control and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't understand why I'm with this guy or whatever is going on, it actually is disrupting mate selection. I have a study down here below and there's tons more that you can follow. So if that's just blowing your mind, it's crazy. And with all of that said, so we have those top 3 things, then we have that big bomb that I just dropped. Birth control is depleting every single mineral that is essential for general women health, like your B vitamins, your zinc, your minerals. Like it is a huge problem. It's not just a simple like, oh, it's just keeping me from getting pregnant. You have to really deep dive into why, how, what is this doing in order to keep me from getting pregnant? Like, it's either suppressing or enhancing a certain hormone that maybe should or shouldn't be. It is blocking certain pathways. It is depleting, like, this one always gets me. One of the ways the birth control is effective is that it's literally depleting the body of all of the minerals and nutrients that it needs to become pregnant. And so some people might be like, duh. But when you think about that, that's really disturbing. I don't know how to like help you understand the depth of that, but like maybe the reason women aren't getting pregnant on birth control is like one of the side effects of birth control, meaning that it's depleting all of those essential minerals and vitamins that you need. So like, it's not just blocking you from getting pregnant, it is making your body incapable of becoming pregnant. And that doesn't stop the moment you stop the pill. That lasts for years and years and years, and it can even last for a lifetime. Like, birth control can cause long-term, like permanent infertility in women. So I just need you guys to know that. I need you to know what you're getting into if birth control is something that you are considering. It's not something to take lightly. There are other methods that are effective regardless of what people say. And stay tuned because I'll have a video coming out soon on what to do to replenish your body if you have been on birth control like me. Another thing I have to share is that I cover this super in depth in my Bare Naked Hormones course, which is my foundational signature course, which has the 7 pillars of Simplistic, which is my business, and it helps women to go from 10 years of infertility to pregnant, or PCOS to pregnant like me, or rupturing cysts, or whatever it may be. This course is how I took my healing journey, simplified it, prioritized what I wish I would have had, left out what I wish I wouldn't have, and made it into this beautifully wrapped package for women to go through and have it change their lives. And it's been amazing. You can watch the testimonial video as well, just of some really crazy stories of women who have gone through the course.
Running on empty. That's like the best way to describe it. My name's Rebecca Cotter. I live in Hawaii and I have 2 boys and my 3rd on the way. I was depleted. I was breastfeeding and I was chasing a toddler. I had 2 under 2 at the time, and had a mental breakdown in the kitchen being like, I feel like I'm trying to do everything right and like I'm not feeling healthy. The pregnancy, it was requiring so much of me. And so then taking Ashley's course and realizing like, oh my goodness, I am eating like a toddler. I'm eating like 800 calories and I'm trying to breastfeed. Every Jack and Joe has an opinion on wellness. And I've tried a lot of those. I tried being vegan, I tried being raw vegan, and I think Ashley really looked at the body and really was like, okay, does this make sense? Ashley's course took it step by step. So it was talking about, you know, the basics of nutrition, but then she also talked about the importance of environment, how they all work synergistically together. And I loved how she put it in actionable steps so I could, you know, take what I was learning and try and implement things one at a time. And they're healthy and thriving now.